Hi, Filipina wife Rod here. Today, my vlog I'm gonna share is a gossip I heard while visiting my sister's village or barangay during my most recent trip to the Philippines. This is one of those stories that would probably make a good storyline in a telenovela, and most people wouldn't believe that it could possibly be true. Well, I wouldn't believe it either, except that I'm personally familiar with the women involved in this story, with several being lifelong batchmates of my nephews and my nieces. I've also verified this story through multiple sources, such as their Facebooks. So, this is how the story goes. So, in my sister's village or barangay, there lived a woman who had four daughters and had never been married. This woman had worked at many different jobs over the years, but her main source of income was rumored to be dating men. This woman and her four daughters lived a modest life but seemed to be happy together. But about 8 years ago, the mother died unexpectedly. That the four daughters, ranged in age from 12 to 20 years old, with no father and no significant family help, the eldest daughter took upon herself to support the family. She had limited education and job skills and no obvious way of making enough money to support the entire family. So, in an act of desperation, she went to Boracay, one of the top beach tourist destinations in the Philippines, and she worked there as a freelancer. And she hoped to find enough wealthy men to allow her to support her entire family. Now, she lived in Iloilo, my city, which is about a 4 hour bus ride from Boracay. This trip was something she saw her mother did many times, and she knew what she was getting herself into. She was young, pretty, and naturally flirtatious, so she had no problem finding dates, and she made enough to support herself and her sisters. So after being in Boracay for about a year, she met a Canadian who lived in Manila but would routinely travel to Boracay for business. The two enjoyed each other's company, and the man offered to bring her back to Manila to work as nanny to his child and be his girlfriend. The child was from his previous girlfriend, and she'd left the child in his care after they broke up. The girl saw this as an opportunity, to practice being a wife and eventually marry a man. But in my understanding, the man just viewed her as a nanny with benefits. She moved to Manila with a Canadian and started her new life. At this time, the eldest daughter's income dropped significantly, so she could no longer send as much money home. Now, the second oldest daughter was happy for her sister and decided to go to Boracay as well and try her hand at dating men for money, and maybe she could get lucky like her sister and meet a future husband. She was young and pretty like her sister and quickly learned a business and made a decent income, which she also sent most of it home to support her sisters. After being in Boracay for about a year, she also met a Canadian. He was rich and visited the island regularly, and they had several dates during his visits. And he asked her to be his regular girlfriend and no longer date other men. He agreed to set her up in her own apartment and give her an allowance. He insinuated that he was marriage minded, and she thought she hit a jackpot. At this point, she also had a reduction in income. She could no longer send much money home. Now, the third sister was now 19, and she decided to travel to Boracay as well to try her hand at a family business. She moved into the apartment with her sister with the agreement that she'd leave any time the boyfriend would be in town. She was there for about 4 months when she announced that she had met her future husband. Everyone was thrilled for her and kept asking details. Like her sister's boyfriends, the man had asked not to be photographed. He always said that he didn't want any jealousy from his ex girlfriends, However, the third daughter decided to take pictures of him while he slept. She sent the pictures to her sisters with great pride. She'd found a foreigner and he was gonna rescue her from poverty in the Philippines. So far, this is a pretty common story, nothing surprising, but truth is so often stranger than fiction. So, when the first sister saw the picture, she recognized the man as her boyfriend. This was the man whose child she was helping raise and she was living with in Manila. She had no idea that he was sleeping with other women and making promises about the future while he was visiting Boracay. Now, the second sister also responded quickly that this was her boyfriend as well, that she didn't even know he was in Boracay while he was sleeping with her sister. The three sisters were furious and were rapidly developing a revenge plan, while the men slept unaware any of this was happening. Now, the sisters decided to meet and confront this Canadian at his apartment when he returned to Manila. And the oldest sister did not want to abandon the child before the man returned and would move out with the two sisters present. And then all three sisters would return to Iloilo, their hometown, to recover from this betrayal. A couple of days went by and the man was settled back in his home in Manila, and then much to his surprise, he saw the three sisters at the doorway with great anger and disgust. They had a big argument and the women demanded compensation, which I heard is common when a foreigner breaks up with a Filipina. And yeah, I would do too in this situation. Now, the foreigner was intimidated by these three women and embarrassed. He made arrangements to give each of the sisters 100,000 pesos with a promise that they never contact him. So you ask, what about the fourth sister, the youngest? Well, she also went to Boracay when she turned 18. She quickly found a German boyfriend who was living in Boracay while working remotely. According to his Facebook page, he looked to be early 30s and had graduated from a German technical college, so I assumed he's doing some sort of IT work. The youngest lives with his German boyfriend and he gives her enough of an allowance to support her three sisters who are currently living in our city. As I delved deeper into the story, I realized that sometimes the most inconceivable situations can lead to the most profound insights. So, what lessons can you take away from this true story? Well, I think first is sometimes sleeping with men for a living is a family profession. If the mother or sister is or was a working girl, then there is a better chance than normal that the girl will be attracted to this business. The second is that many Filipinos will believe what they want to believe and not see the reality of the situation, although that depends on her family status. But if she is a breadwinner, nothing to lose for her to hold onto that hope that a foreigner will save her family from their life-stricken situation. The last time I checked the youngest sister's Facebook, the two older sisters have their Filipino partners already, and they all look great, thanks to that German benefactor. I hope you enjoyed this true story. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll be back again next week with another interesting story or video. Thanks for watching. Bye.